All right, guys, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. What a rookie move. You need your mic. You need your mic, Smashy. All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Smash Time's Lead Therapy. I appreciate it. I am your host, Smash Time. And, actually, we're going to do a rebranding. We are no longer going to be Lead Therapy. I'm thinking about changing the name of the live stream. I don't know what yet. But let's check the chat. Let's see who is in the chat really quick. We got Jesus, my man. What's going on, buddy? Let me fix this. Let me get all my ducks in a row. I was having a late dinner with the family. Brett J, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Fluffy, what's going on, man? Super Geo Killer, man. Buddy was at the Academy today. There is no 7.62 by 39 to be had. It's not good. D Green. Oh, Fit and Fire. Funny you mentioned this guy. Fit and Fire. Bobby, what's going on? All right. So I met this gentleman at TriggerCon this year, and super interesting guy. I went did a kind of a deep dive on his channel. I really like what I was seeing. Very genuine individual, very underrated YouTube channel too. So without further ado, we have Mark with Fit and Fire.
What's going on, everybody?
It's so funny, man. I was going to start another channel called Fat and Fire.
Well, hey, I'm not here to body shame. I'm just here to make sure you can win the fight. That's all I care about.
So what's going on, man? How did you like TriggerCon?
It was interesting. It was different. I was honestly, to be frankly honest, I was expecting a little bit bigger, but I'm thinking that this is going to be something that's going to slow roll over the next few years and get larger and larger as we go. Kind of a mid-year SHOT Show, maybe, Yeah. But I talked to a couple of guys from Rainier, and they said that they may be looking at doing it in Oklahoma City next year. So
nice.
They're looking at opening a new facility in Oklahoma City. So they may do next year's TriggerCon down there and maybe alternate back and forth. So
yeah, I thought the venue was a little wonky, a little weird having to walk up and down stairs. It wasn't very fat friendly, folks.
No,
they actually made you exercise just to go to the show. Not that great, but I thought the live fire, I thought the range day, amazing.
Very well done.
I lived in that area and I've never had a chance to shoot those guns, I would have signed up all day long for that range day. What a great time.
Yeah, that was a good time. Great range as well. I did tactical games there a year removed from that, almost to the same weekend. We did tactical games there at the Severance range. So good little spot. You can reach out and touch some targets a few hundred yards. So yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I really dug it. So let's check the chat one more time. What's up says I have several thousand, 7.62 by 39. Oh man, I tell you, I was at the store today. I went to 2 academies and both of them had tons of ammo, but zero 7.62 by 39.
I think the only thing that I've seen here locally with my Academy Sports when it comes to 7.62 by 39 is going to be a lot of the like bougie type stuff, so some of like the Hornady,
the brass,
brass case with the FTX tips and stuff like that, or maybe the Hornady black, kind of.
Nobody has money for that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're talking $1.50 a round at that point.
We got Tactical Tina in the chat. What's going on? How did you like the Tulsa show?
Oh yeah,
Tulsa was a very nice show. It's huge. I got to see a lot of cool stuff I don't get to see on a regular basis, but the prices were not friendly at all. I was amazed at how terrible the pricing was on this stuff.
I will tell you the only thing that I really kick myself about at the Wanamaker show in the spring, because I went there this last spring, because they do it spring and fall every year.
Yeah.
And it used to be like the thing that my dad and I did was go down to Tulsa every year, twice a year for the gun show. But this year they had some Saiga AKs, and they had a couple of them that were converted, and There was one I really wanted to buy. It was Saiga 556 AK with like 6 magazines for $1,500. And I'm like, man, I could buy that right now. And now I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't do it. So, because Saega's really tough to get in good condition, you know. So, $1,500, not out of the realm of sanity, you know. So
I remember when they first started importing those, they were like $250.
I know,
They were so cheap. And then I was in California at the time, and I'm like, well, it was fixed mag. You couldn't really do a whole lot with it. And then people started converting them. And then I keep kicking myself. I'm like, man, I could have bought a crate of those things for like $2,000, and they're so expensive now.
yeah, 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 and that's just how it is, you know. When you get sanctions put on, you know, you try to find some of the rare Norinco AKs. Those are getting pretty pricey too. So,
Well, the thing is, there was a lot of AKs there, but with
mhm.
I mean, look, if you're just someone that wants an AK to go shoot, there's a million places that are making great. PSA makes great AKs. Why not spend, $600, $700, $800 for a PSA and go shoot it and beat it to shit instead of buying something brand new or
Mhm.
buying one of these vintage ones? I mean, I don't know. I would kind of I'd rather have a new one.
You know, everybody laughs, but I will say that for the money, you will not go wrong if you come across a Wasser 10. If you find a Wasser 10 at, six, seven, $800, you'll never go wrong,
With
especially right now.
all the rattles too.
Yep. I mean, it may look like Edward Scissorhands put it together, but but it's a workhorse. It's going to work. So, and if it doesn't, you just beat it a little bit and it works. So
Yeah. Oh, we got celebrities in the house. We have Mr. Drop It Like It's Scott. What's going on, buddy?
great dude. Scott
Mark
is
is
such
a
a
rock
great,
star.
such a good dude, man. I just talked to him on the phone a couple weeks ago, and Scott, I haven't made the phone call yet, but I'm going to, and I'm going to get that upper taken care of. So,
Just
FYI.
got it. Oh, he just bought an AK from PSA. You cannot go
Mhm.
wrong. I
Yeah.
bought one of the BFG 5s.
Mhm.
Outstanding. The
Yeah.
best $1,100 I ever spent in my life.
Yeah, those pretty decent. The uh, the GF3, GF4, GF5s have been pretty solid. Most of the things that I've seen is that PSA's 7.62 by 39 AKs have been pretty solid. Once you start getting into the 5.45 or the 5.56, it kind of gets a little hit and miss there with some of their QA. So, but
I don't
if
know. That's my next target is a 5.56 AK.
I tell you, that's where it's at, and everybody like scoffs and is like, "Oh, how dare you? That's blasphemy. You can't buy a 5.56 AK." And I'm like, I don't know if you know this or not, but we're in America. You know, why not?
Right.
Eh,
The days of cheap 7.62 by 39 is almost completely over. So
yeah, I mean, and I think I got about 2,500 rounds of 39, but
that's
I
not
think
enough.
it's not enough. No, especially with what I do as a YouTuber. Yeah, it's never enough.
I know I bought during the last ammo scare, as soon as they filed that against the certs, the import certs, you can't get
Mhm.
them redone. I went out and immediately, as soon as I heard, I went on SGA Ammo, sgammo.com, because it's free shipping. And let me tell you, look, I'm a huge two-way warehouse fanatic. I pick it up locally, but they don't carry 7.62 by 39. So I went on SG Ammo and I bought 4,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39, and they came double boxed with packing peanuts, 2 to a case.
Wow, that's nice.
It showed up in perfect condition,
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. And I was like, who does that? Free shipping. So I thought that was really, really cool. Oh, Fluffy says he remembers he used to buy AKs for 150 SKS.
Mhm.
There used to be in California, you could get the Yugo SKSs, and they always had like a barrel full of them for $69.99. And now they're going $700-$800.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like inflation's a thing or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, oh, I forgot to do my plug. Hold on. I got to do a plug here. Where is it? Where is my crap? What did I do with it? Oh, my son has it. Hold on. What a amateur in here. Amateur hour. Josh. Well, this live stream is brought to you by John Crump. His new book.
Yeah, there he is.
It's fantastic. You know what's so funny is I showed it to my son and he's like, "This is cool," and he walked away with it. And who knows where it's at now? So John Crump, thank you so much. That book is awesome. As soon as I
Oh
get it,
yeah.
finish it.
I just got his book. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really interesting read.
It's easy to read.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
So I mean, when you have dyslexia and you eat crayons, I mean, you got to. I really wish John had put a lot more pictures in it.
I was hoping for a pop-up book myself. All right, so let's get into the questions, my man. So, where you're from, Kansas originally, right?
Yeah, born and raised, Free Stater, Kansas, Jayhawker. Yeah,
is that what they call it, Free Stater?
Yeah. Kansas. A lot of people don't know this, and we take a lot of pride. You're from Texas. Texas is very prideful. Which is great.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
You could say that.
Born and raised Kansans are indoctrinated with the concept of being a free stater, right? The Jayhawker, right? Not that I'm a Jayhawk fan. I'm not a KU fan. That's not what I'm getting at. But Kansas fought their own civil war to become a state, and whether or not that war was going to determine whether or not it was going to be a free state or a slave state. Because after the 1850 compromise, any state that came into the Union had to vote on whether or not they were going to be free or slave states. And so we fought our own war. The whole John Brown dude, he went to Harper's Ferry and all that jazz. Well, he started his abolition grassroots program in Kansas to make Kansas a free state. So, we are very sentimental when it comes to that type of stuff. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. So, so born and raised in Kansas, spent 22 years of my life here and decided to join the Army and go see the world, and got stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas. So
nice.
2 hours up the road. That's the story that I tell everybody. It's a funny story. It's not really how it worked out, but spent about 13 years in the military. What'd
you do were you in the Army, right?
I was in the Army. Yep. Mm-hmm. Started off as a tank crewman. So I did everything on a tank. I drove, I loaded, I was a gunner in Baghdad in 03. And then I also substituted as a tank commander on and off in that time. And also when I got back to the States from Iraq, I was a pseudo tank gunner or a pseudo tank commander because they put me on the executive officer's tank. So I was doing two duties, gunning and tank commanding. So did that until about 2007, and then got a scholarship, a green to gold scholarship to finish my degree at Kansas State University and become a logistics officer in the Army. And then went to
nice. Everyone wants to be best friends with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you what, General Patton said that logistics wins wars. And let me tell you, we found that out the hard way in 03. Well, during the global war on terrorism, without logistics, you can't fight.
So could you jump in a tank today? So if you went down to drive tanks in Texas, you could jump into one of their tanks and be able to work it?
Yeah, reasonably. The M1.
Were you in the Abrams?
Yeah, the M1 Abrams is a modernized tank. So everything in it is fairly turnkey, moving from, say, driving a car to driving a tank, right? As a driver in a tank, you have a T-handle. So it's almost like a motorcycle, right? So
right.
Their throttle is like a motorcycle, and then you just move it forward and back. It pivots, right? So it's a T-handle. And then you have one pedal, which is the brake, you know, and the little gear selector is neutral, drive, or reverse, you know. So yeah, too easy to
I don't think
drive.
we lost a tank in the Iraq War, in like Desert Storm and Desert Shield. I don't think we lost one tank.
No, not to enemy fire, but fratricide was a problem. So
Fracture side, what's that?
friendly fire.
Oh, friendly fire.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit, that's not good.
No, I think we lost probably 10 or a dozen tanks to friendly fire. Yeah.
No kidding.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not only tank on tank, but Apache on tank, A10 on tank. Yeah, there were a number of issues. So there's a really good Denzel Washington movie that he's a tank commander in Desert Storm. And I really like that movie because at the very beginning of the movie, if you just listen, right as the credits start to roll, you hear an Abrams startup, and Abrams has a turbine engine. And the beginning 5-10 minutes of that movie is all about Denzel Washington in Desert Storm in a tank fight with the Republican Guard, and there's some friendly fire that happens, and it shows how I don't.
Okay, don't tell me. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay, but it just kind of shows how easy that thing that all played out, you
Right.
know. So, yeah, so definitely check that movie out. I wish I could remember the name of the movie, but
I'll
it's
find it. I'm a
yeah.
movie fanatic. Let's
Oh
check
yeah,
the chat real quick. C6 Ladez, my buddy Mad Mike, what's going on? Bobby Singer, Roger Ray, what's up? Shooting Gallery, New England. Hey Joe, we were just hanging out today. He was in town for a little bit.
cool,
We went we went and Googled some guns. It was great.
nice.
JJ, my man. I can confirm Fast Smash's favorite tack light is a free tack light. X300s for me.
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's true. What's wrong with free? Everybody in the chat, really quick. I'm gonna put a link to Mark's channel, Fit and Fire. If you're not a subscriber, open up a separate window, please. Like and subscribe to his channel. It's vastly underrated. It's super, super quality. So you're not gonna regret it. I've been watching his videos nonstop for like 4 or 5 days, and
Nice.
I'm a fan. I'm a
Thank
fan.
you. Yeah.
No gay. Well, maybe a little. No, but
That's
I'm
okay.
a huge
It's
fan.
it's 2023, you know.
Yeah, and if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please like and subscribe to this channel. I'd greatly appreciate it.
In addition to that, I just launched a podcast as well with my cameraman, Hefe. And so if you guys
You
are
have a
interested,
cameraman?
I do. Well, he's just the dude that helps me out. Half the time I do my own camera work, but he's a local guy that I met a few years ago, and we've just ended up going to the range together. Then he's like, you mind if I do the camera stuff for you? And I was like, yeah, go right ahead. So, but he's actually coming to SHOT Show with me, and is going to do all of the camera work while I'm there. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
SHOT Show. You know what's funny? I had a really nice, fancy Sony camera, and my
Mhm.
first day of shot, a couple years, 2 years ago, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some high-end video. The first video I did was great, and then every booth had different lighting,
Mhm.
dark, bright. The audio was wonky a little bit, and then
Yep.
my first day there, I had to throw out all that video because it was just
Yeah.
trash. The next
Yeah.
day, I used my cell phone
Mhm.
and crushed it.
Yeah.
Everything was great because it thinks for you. It adjusts for all the lighting, the ISO, the brightness, and everything, and it's idiot proof. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. The last year I went, I just used my phone, and it doesn't look super professional, but it gets the job done. And those
Yeah.
videos, a lot of those videos crushed for me. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying a not podcasting, a vlogging camera. It's a Sony
The FX3,
Z1.
the
I think it's a
ZV1,
Z. Yeah, ZV1, and
ZV1.
then I've got the Rode lavalier mics.
Nice. Did you get the
Those
dual
square
mics
ones.
or the single
Yeah,
mic?
the dual. Yeah. So
Nice. That's
I'm gonna
great.
try.
So you can just clip them on people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna try that this year and see how well it does. It should be a lot better because every year you're always fighting that background noise, you know. So we'll see how it works out.
Very true. I love that SHOT Show hum though.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
just love it.
there,
So,
but no matter what happens, every time that I go to SHOT Show, I'll do a video normally with PSA. That's the PSA videos usually get a lot of interaction. And every single time I do a PSA video, I probably got a dozen to 2 dozen people. It's like, I can't hear what you're saying. There's too much background noise. And I'm like, that well,
Yeah.
you can not watch. I was like,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know what to do.
you're right. PSA stuff does great. My video from PSA last year got like 350,000 views.
Mhm.
It went crazy.
Yeah.
It was I was like, wow, with a
Yeah.
cell phone. Um, but I talk to a lot of people that do high-end video work, and they say the audio matters more than video. Like your video can be okay and grainy, but if your audio is not crispy, they'll just click right off.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. That's true. So it's always a balancing act, you're always trying to get it done, trying to figure out how to
Right.
do it right. And yeah, so it is I just keep trying every year, just keep trying to do my best. So
So you went to Wallmaker with your dad, you said. Now, did he have a
Mhm.
table set up or he just would go?
No, we would growing up, that's kind of how I got a lot of my exposure into firearms, was going down every spring and fall with my dad to Wanamaker and just walking it. And it used to be that we would go down on a Saturday. We would probably walk, half to 2/3 of it, spend the night, and then the next day get up and go and walk the rest of it on Sunday. But then we got, oh, there you go, Clove Tack. There you go. um, but we got into a routine where we could basically drive down. It was about a 2.5 hour drive to get there. And on the way there, we would just kind of talk about what are some of the things that we're looking for, what are kind of the prices that we're hoping to see. And then we would just go walk down one aisle, turn, come back down the next aisle, and just keep on doing that instead of trying to go up one side and turn around and come down the other. You know,
Right.
we could crush it in about 4 to 6 hours. So yeah.
That's a fast pace. Now, are you and your dad pretty close?
Yeah, we are.
Do you remember that time as like bonding time? Because I brought my
Oh,
son
absolutely.
this time,
Yeah.
and the whole drive up, he had a little pack of Pokemon. He had a little book of his favorite Pokemon cards, and he's 10. And he's like, I hope there's Pokemon cards there. And I'm like, maybe, buddy, maybe. And I shit you not. We
You found
ran past a table of these 3 young kids, and they had 4 or 5,000 Pokemon cards. They had
Oh,
2
nice.
tables laid out. My
Nice.
son just lost his mind.
That's
And it was
good.
his birthday. So he's like, yeah. And he brought his own money, and he's a saver. So we left with like $300 in Pokemon cards.
Nice. That's
No
nice.
guns, but
Yeah.
tons of cards.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing for me, my favorite memory was going down, and I was probably 17 at the time, and still every spring and fall, still going with my dad down there. I wasn't cool. I wasn't too cool for the gun show, and we went down on a Saturday and kind of putzed around. We got through the entire show and decided that we were going to stay the night. My dad took me to a really nice steak dinner. I had my first glass of wine,
Nice.
which was really cool. And then we got done with that. We went back to the hotel room, and Goodfellas was playing, and we sat and watched the entire show. I'd never seen Goodfellas before.
Dude, that's
And
great. What a good
yeah,
memory.
yeah. And then we got up the next day and finished out the rest of the show. And yeah, that's one of those memories. The next memory is would have been fall of 2017. Um, we went, and I walked by this random dude, and my dad's like, "Oh my goodness!" And he stopped and turned around and walked up to this guy and shook his hand and said hi to him. And I looked, and it's freaking Hickok 45.
Oh, yeah. He was there this year.
Yeah. So my dad got his picture with him, which was, my dad loves him. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that guy is super, super nice. He trolled me in one of my videos, and it was the funniest thing ever. I was doing a review of a place called True Preps in Atlanta, Georgia, and I walk in, and the manager's there talking talking to him, and she goes, "Oh, I got two famous YouTubers now." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. You have one famous YouTuber, and I'll hold his bags, you know." And then we talked for like 20 minutes. I asked him as many questions as I could because I'd never met him before,
Yeah.
and he asked me what I'm doing there. I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to review the story." He goes, "Okay, young man, go ahead and do your thing, and I'm going to be over here."
Hmm.
And so I started my review, right? And he walks behind the camera, he picks up an axe and he's in my shot, and he's doing this and that. And I'm looking at him and I can't concentrate on the interview. And so I said, well, let's go look at something else. So I turned the camera off and he started laughing. He goes, I'm just messing with you, man. But it was the funniest video I've ever done. I got trolled by him.
Right. Yeah. He's like that, man. He'll do that. He'll troll you. It's
Yeah, he's a
so
good
funny.
guy.
I ran into him this past January at SHOT Show, and you know, I I know he doesn't know who I am, but I said, "Hey, good to see you. Glad that you're here. You know, I don't know if you remember this, but my dad met you a couple times down in Tulsa, and then we saw you at NRA in 2019." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, how's he doing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, he's doing okay. He's been sick, but he's okay, and he's still kicking." And he's like, "Yeah, that's great." And we sat there at the in the media room where all the breakfast stuff is, just chatting for like 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, he wouldn't stop talking. And I was like, "Hey, I don't want to, hold you up or anything. I got to link up with my guy and we got to go film some stuff, but it was great talking to you." And he's like, "Okay, see you later."
Yeah. Very cool, dude. I tell you what, man, who's the guy that you would geek out to meet the most in the industry?
Well, I would have to say that I've already met him, but I still geek out each and every single time I see him, and that is Jim Fuller.
Oh yeah, I mean, heck, I'm not a big AK guy, but even I know who Jim Fuller is.
Yeah, yeah, that's like between him and like Clayco 47,
Oh, Clay, yeah.
yeah, I've met them both, but every time I'm around them, it's just like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Oh, Clay, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Clay's a good dude.
I went I went
He's
to
a
his
really
wedding. I went
sincere.
yeah, I went to his wedding, and Rachel is just such a wonderful woman, and I but still every single time I get around him, I'm just like giddy.
Yeah, we know who runs that. Who runs that family?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait till he has some little Claycos running around.
Me too. Me
Let's
too. I
check
can't
the
wait.
chat real quick. We have a Crystal. Oh, Christy, what's up? Smash Time. Thank you for taking such good care of Joe. Joe is such a good dude. I love Joe. Joe's all right. Clover Tack. Oh, Clover. I can't believe I didn't run into you guys at Tulsa, man. I was kind of bummed out. Fit and Fire, no AROO for you. ARO?
Aru.
Spartan Rates. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Drop it like a Scott. What's up? All right. Don't ignore the chat. That's rule number 1. Don't ignore the chat. All right. And man, so you go into the gun shows with your dad. That's got to be really cool. Hopefully, I'm building those same memories in with my son.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully, next time we'll buy some guns and not Pokemon cards. But hey, whatever. And like you, I try and go on setup day because it's really quiet, and then Saturday.
I didn't know that you could do that actually. Did you like get
Well, you got to know some people.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you like got press credentials or something. So
No, I heard you could, but I don't. I have some buddies that get tables every year, and so they get me an extra badge,
that's cool.
and it's really a good time.
Mm-hmm. That's one. My dad was always saying that Friday is when all of the deals get done.
That
All
is
of the
true.
those
Absolutely
guys.
true.
Yeah, a lot of those guys with tables will come in and they'll have a whole bunch of stuff, and next thing you know, they have half of what they started with when they got there on Friday. So,
Absolutely. And then a lot of them will buy it and take it right over to their table,
mhm,
reprice it,
mhm,
and then they're good to go.
yeah.
So you're doing this with your dad now. Is that when you got really into guns, or are you just going through the motions?
I will honestly say I was just going through the motions. I mean, yeah, okay. Uh, I had always been around guns or exposed to guns and stuff, no big deal. It was never a really big deal to me. And I didn't really start geeking out until I got a little bit older and started to see, as we started approaching 2000, that's where I started to see more and more like AR-15s. And that's what I obviously associated with like, um, you know, M16, Vietnam, you know, uh,
Right.
movies that I grew up with, like Stripes, and those that type of thing. I was like, oh, I recognize that rifle. Oh, okay, okay. Um, and that's when I really started to pay attention to it. When I figured out that Han Solo's blaster is a Mauser C96, then all of a sudden I was looking at every single C96 I could see or
Right. And
find.
just for the
Yeah,
record, folks, Han shot first.
yeah, that is correct. Han shot
Han
first. Yep.
shot first. I
Mhm.
remember I saw one of your first videos. You're wearing a Boba Fett T-shirt, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Ah, this guy's a Star Wars geek. I
Oh yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
I got
like
my
it."
got my.
Pre-Disney Star Wars.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have um the pre-specialized VHS THX remastered cassette tapes. So and I will never get rid of those.
Those are so rare. I almost bought the regular DVD set that had just come out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's after he jacked up the first movie, but the second two were still unmolested.
Mm-hmm.
I passed up on it. I should have bought it.
Well, what you can do is if I mean it's pretty actually simple. You can go onto eBay and you can look up Star Wars despecialized. And what they have done, there's a documentary about it and everything. What they did was they went back and found every possible um, variation of the original trilogy, whether it be Super 8 or Betamax or
Laserdisc.
V8, Laserdisc, VHS. They found all of them and they spliced all of that together and then digitally enhanced everything to bring it to like 4K quality, but it's the originals without the added stuff that George Lucas did in the late 90s. And you can buy them on Blu-ray. And it's like usually I think for the trilogy it's like $50. Now, if you
Hmm.
don't want to spend the money, you can just go to Star Wars Despecialized. I think it's starwarsdespecialized.com or something like that. Just Google it and you can just download it straight for free. And they've just taken,
Really?
yeah, they've just taken donations. You can
This is
download it.
very important information, folks. I know we want to talk about guns, but this probably made my night.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, it's free to download, or you can just buy it from somebody who's already ripped it onto a Blu-ray for you.
Oh, dude, that is so great.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so let's get back to your gun journey. Um, you went into the military. Were you
Mhm.
young? Did you go like 17, 18?
No, I was 22. So when I
Were you into
graduated,
guns before that?
yeah, I mean, I'd go shooting with my dad like maybe once or twice a year, and it was always a treat. But it was always pistols, and most of the time it was probably going to be like a 1911 because my dad's a huge 1911 fan.
As it
Maybe
should be.
right, maybe every once in a while he would bring out his Luger, but more times than not it was 1911, or he had a Smith and Wesson 8-shot 22 revolver that was set up for like competition. So it had a
Mhm.
really, really nice hair trigger, really light trigger. And so that was a lot of fun to shoot too. But yeah, once or twice a year we'd go and shoot, and it's just handguns. Um, I didn't shoot my I didn't shoot an actual like rifle for the first time until basic training. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
I mean I had shot like yeah, Clover, K22 is probably right. Um, I had shot some black powder stuff, and then my dad had a little breech loading 22 long rifle. Um, and yeah, that was the extent of my rifle stuff until I got into the military.
So,
So
oh, I'm sorry. So when you got out of the military, is that when you really got into guns?
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
to find what was that spark that you're like, oh yeah, I'm a gun guy now.
There's a couple different things. The first thing happened back in 2009. Um, my my wife's sister, so my sister-in-law and her niece were unfortunately killed in a mass shooting that happened down in southern Alabama. That was March 10th of 2009, and I think that was the seed that was planted in my brain that something needs to change to make sure that I can protect my loved ones. And then I got out of the military and went back home to Wichita, and my middle school best friend and high school best friend um, started. He had been real key, a bit of a lobbyist for the Republican Party here in Kansas.
Hmm.
A lot of political connections, and he knew that Kansas was getting ready to become a constitutional carry state in 2014. So he started telling me, "Hey, um, start paying attention to this. You need to start working on getting your concealed carry license, so that you have reciprocity in other states, even though we're going to be constitutional carry." And that's when it really kind of snowballed from
Yeah.
there. So, yeah,
Nice. Sorry to hear about your family members. That's always man,
yeah,
it's
it
almost hard
was,
to comment on it, you know?
yeah, it was a really tough time for the family. But um, this is, I don't know if this is going to be TMI or not, but um, when my wife and I met each other down in Alabama for the funeral, because at the time I was going through my officer basic course at Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland to finish my commission as an officer. My wife had just gotten to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And so we had been apart for roughly about 6 months. So this was the first time that we had seen each other since Christmas. And it just turns out that at the funeral, that's just happens to be when my daughter was conceived. So,
Yeah.
so out of tragedy, something beautiful came about, and we once we found out about it, we had a baby shower. I sat down with the wife and said, "Hey, I think that we need to come up with a name that honors both of these two people, because that's why she's here." So um, we named our daughter Coriana after Corinne and Andrea. So yeah,
Oh
that's
man, that's a lot of meeting, man.
yeah. It's it was a very tragic time, but something beautiful came out of it, and yeah. So we just keep their memory alive that way.
Man, that's why my dad was at Aberdeen for a long time,
Mm.
and then he was in Germany for a couple years, but he was a tank guy too.
Oh,
I don't know a
cool.
whole lot. He never really talked about it, but
Yeah.
he was over there with Elvis. He didn't
Mhm.
like him too much.
No.
My brother was
Okay.
in the 101st, and he was over in Desert Storm for a couple years. He was over there for a year and a half.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just living the dream, man.
Yeah.
I didn't go in because I got a pretty decent job out of high school, and I'm like,
Mm.
man, should I go get yelled at for 4 years or just hang out with my friends and get paid money?
Yeah, no, and that's the reason why I joined the army when I was 22. Because after high school, I was looking at going into the Navy. My dad was kind of a Navy guy. My brother had joined the Navy, and it was just expected that I would do the same thing. And I was talking to my brother, who at the time was active duty Navy,
Mhm.
and I said, "Hey, look, this is what the recruiters are saying that they'll do." And he's like, "Nah, man, freaking look." Go to college, right? Go to college and just try one semester. And if it works out, great, keep going. If it doesn't, you've just lost 6 months. No big deal. You can join anytime. Just do that. And I was like, okay. So I started my associate's degree. I knocked up my girlfriend at the time, so had a surprise. I was 20 years old and I was a dad, and I was like, oh, okay. So now I'm working full time, going to school full time, trying to raise a kid, and trying to help my girlfriend get through college as well. So That was a pretty tough time, but it turns out that she ended up getting she got accepted to a Christian college in Manhattan, Kansas, which is just outside of Fort Riley. And I said, "It's not too many good jobs up there, so hey, um, I'm done with my associate's degree. Why don't I just join the army and
That
we'll have
makes perfect sense.
yeah, steady income." So that's the real story of how I ended up at Fort Riley. So yeah, it was I was in basic training actually. I was there. I had been there for about 3 weeks, 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks, and I got a letter in the mail, and it was my diploma from from Butler County Community College with my associate's degree, and that put a huge target on my back with the drill sergeants because now I'm Mr. Einstein to them, you know. It's like,
No, that's back when they could give you some grief. Nowadays,
oh
it's
yeah,
so sissified.
mhm, yeah. I got punched in the stomach several times by my drill sergeant.
No way.
Dead serious, dead
Oh,
serious.
now, um, my wife's daughter's not my wife, my daughter's mom's nephew. It's complicated.
Mhm.
He went in the army, and man, someone smacked him around. And he filed charges against
Oh
them,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's very very PC now.
It is. The drill sergeant who punched me on two separate occasions, he ended up getting his drill sergeant patch taken from him because he did it to somebody who was a son of a state senator, and
That'll do it.
that was the end of it. Yeah. So, and I didn't care.
Did
I'm
you deserve it though? That's the question.
I mean, a lot of people would say no. I just answered the question wrong, right? Um, but even still, it doesn't matter. You think that war is going to be any less harsh than getting punched in the stomach?
Exactly.
Give me a break. They are training combat soldiers. They are training tankers, right? We were set. We were sent to Fort Riley, or excuse me, Fort Knox for tank school for 17 weeks, and you had to change a civilian to now become a killer. And there's no, you know, flowery way to go around it.
I
You
mean,
have
you
to
didn't have like safe spaces. You didn't
yeah,
have like
man, they talked about the stress cards and everything that came out when I went into the army, and I was like, I never got a stress card. I don't even know what that is. Shit, my drill sergeant just punched me. I don't care.
yeah, right. All
So,
right, so tell me about this 40 acres. 40
oh yeah,
acres in Wyoming. That
yeah,
is something like we had talked about it a little bit at TriggerCon. You had
yeah.
just, I guess, bought it and you were jacked. You were so high on the
Oh
hill.
yeah, 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 man. I still
What are you
am.
doing with it? What's your plans for these 40 acres?
So that is eventually going to be my retirement property. I'm hoping maybe next year to purchase another 40. And we'll see how that plays out. But at the very least, I have got 40 acres all my own. That is going to eventually be my retirement property. Um, there has been some stuff abandoned on it. There was a camper, a mobile home, a couple cars, and I've got most of that stuff drug off, with the exception of the mobile home, which is going to get burned down.
Blown
Um,
up.
yep, yep, that's exactly what I'm
Can
going
I
to do.
come up for that? Can I come up for that?
If you want, yeah, sure.
No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah. So the trick is I have to wait until there's snow on the ground.
Okay.
So it'll be cold, but the intent
That's totally fine.
the intent is to get there when there is enough snow on the ground for me to burn it to the ground, and then when everything thaws and the ground hardens up a little bit, my neighbor has a dozer that he's going to dig a hole and bury the remains of it. So
I
that'll
like
be yeah. And then from there, I'm going to put a primitive cabin on it, and you know,
barn
for
dominium, man. Let's
yeah,
go.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's eventually what I
So in your video, you're on like kind of a high spot.
mhm, yeah.
Have you thought about flattening that out and making that like you'd have a sick 360 view from up there?
Oh yeah, there's actually a couple areas up there. If I could figure out how to anchor a cabin, like a primitive cabin up there, that would be a really, really cool spot because it would be up high. But the problem is
Winds,
why yeah, exactly. Wyoming is
domes.
notorious for winds, but that's actually a good idea.
They have the
Dome.
domes.
The other thing is if I'm able to purchase the 40 acres to the north of me, there's a really nice hill and I could dig into the side of that.
That's what I was. My next suggestion. Let's
Yeah.
fucking be a hobbit, man. Let's go,
Yeah.
Bilbo.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
rock and roll. But
I'm about as tall as him. So
this old Fluffy in Michigan, smash in the cold. Ha ha ha. Heads up. Be prepared. All right. So I went. So Dan, the firearm guy, which you know, and we all love.
yeah.
He
Oh
goes,
yeah.
"Hey man, why don't you come up and shoot some content with me one time?" I was like, "Okay, I'll be there in like 2 weeks." He's like, "What?" Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. So when you say come on up, don't say it unless you mean it, because have gun will travel. I will
Oh,
go.
absolutely.
Like even Scott keeps offering. I'm gonna be in Florida in a couple March. I'll be in Florida. So be ready. Let's go. But yeah, man, if you're gonna blow something up, yeah, let's go. You don't have
Yep.
to tell me twice.
100%. Yeah. Let's see. Bob was asking, how are the property taxes in Wyoming? And it depends on where you're at. And I put it in the chat, my property taxes per year for my 40 acres, $158 per year.
Let me ask you a question. How much is it per acre up there? What's the average price?
That also depends as well, because you can find property that is, about $200,000 for 7 acres. But you can also find 80 acres for $30,000.
What?
Yes. Yep. I'm dead serious. I could probably post a link to the chat right now if that property's still available. The problem is that is like southwestern Wyoming, so that's like high desert, you know. Um, but
I need some
it's
trees.
yeah, exactly, and that's why I picked where I bought a little bit more expensive. I paid 125 for 40 acres, so you're looking about 3-ish thousand.
Why not Kansas? Why not just buy some acreage in Kansas?
Because property taxes in Kansas is ridiculous. Um, Buying land here is incredibly expensive, especially where I would want to buy land, which is in the Manhattan, Topeka area. That is the Flint Hills. So
Mhm.
you have nice rolling terrain, a lot of trees and stuff like that. You start getting out into western Kansas, and it's like you're like in North Dakota or something. It's real flat and barren. So property here is, I think the property there was 150 acres that sold for like 400,000. Yeah, and I was like, yeah. So it's really expensive here. Um, Wyoming is not that far of a drive. The price per acre is fairly cheap depending on where you're at. I mean, if you start getting closer to Yellowstone, obviously it's going to increase. But Casper area, Cheyenne, Laramie area, not too bad. So easy drive, accessible, and it has some pretty nice views once you get into the mountains a little bit, which is where I'm at. So
Yeah, really nice, man. I liked it quite a bit. There's a lot of snow on the ground. It looked like a pretty cool place. Are you
yeah,
gonna dig a pond out? Is there any water on it?
there is none at the moment, but that is kind of the idea. Is once I get that dozer onto the property to bury the remains of the mobile home, is maybe to see if I can figure out how to go ahead and create a pond and then just sink a well right in the center of that pond and or near the pond, so I would have a well feeding the pond and then still have water for my barnuminium, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And the other great thing too, and the other reason why I really like Wyoming is tons of BLM. I'm about 5 minutes from 30,000 acres of BLM land. So yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I love Texas. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and then I found out I was a dad, and I had to move to Texas. But I tell you what, man, my wife works remote. I'm trying to work on a remote job myself,
Yeah.
and then man, now that my oldest daughter's in the army and gone, she'll be in Okinawa in
Cool. Yeah.
3 weeks. She'll be
That'd be
gone.
cool. Yeah.
Sayonara. So she's gone, and man, we can go anywhere we want now. So we're
Yep.
thinking. I really like Kansas. I had a great time hanging out in Kansas. Oklahoma, we went out there just me and my son, and drive around Tulsa was beautiful. We stayed in a
Yeah.
really nice area. Yeah, I
I
loved it.
I do a float trip just outside of Oklahoma in
What's a float trip?
oh, you just get on the on a river on a raft and you just float down the river and
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
drink the entire time, so uh my high
Sounds
school
amazing.
friend of mine lives in Tulsa, so in Broken Arrow actually. So we head down there every June and do a float trip on the Illinois River, and it's a beautiful area right there. It's really, really nice. Man, I
I love
really,
it.
really wish I could remember the name of that area that we're in, but
All right,
uh,
so we're about an hour, 30, 40 minutes into the show. I guess we should talk about your YouTube channel a little bit. I mean,
if
might
you
as
want,
well.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah. So what got you into doing? Because I've watched a lot of your early videos. Why did you want to start a YouTube channel?
Because I am long-winded, I'm very opinionated, and I got to watching this guy. You may or may not have heard of him. His name's Johnny B.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, Johnny.
yeah, yeah. Back in the day when he had his channel called 180-second Ideas, um, that's kind of the guy who I watched
Johnny
religiously.
B inspired you to start your channel?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
And
Does he know that?
yes, he does. Oh yeah, he was very instrumental. He was at about 3,500 to 4,000 subscribers when I stumbled across him, and I sent him an email and said, "Hey, um, I really like your channel. I watch all your videos, and I'm thinking about maybe doing my own thing, but I don't know how to start or what to do." And he replied back with this big long email that says, "Do this, do this, do this, do this, and as soon as you get your video up, do another one, and as soon as you get that one up, do another one, and you want to have 3, 4, 5, 6 videos out lickety split, and then you get into your routine of doing." Your regularly scheduled programming. And so I did. And man, let me tell you, within I would say probably about 6 months, I had 2,000 subscribers because of him and because of people like, um, oh, just totally spaced his name. Um, like it's not Dan. It's not the firearms guy. It's Joel Persinger, Gun Guy TV.
Okay.
He's out in California.
Ooh,
Yeah, he is he's a guy who used to do, I don't know if he still does or not. He used to have a security company whose job was to basically test people's security in their facilities, right? And
oh, cool.
then he would give them recommendations on how to improve or provide security services for them. But he's also a huge gun rights advocate within California. When you go to SHOT Show, typically the very first big round table in the media room, Joel Persinger has that, and he's doing his podcast from there. And it's called his channel is called Gun Guy TV.
Oh, is he still doing it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yep,
You know what's crazy, Mark? I've seen this, man. It's like you've been doing this 7 years.
yep,
Until I met you face to face, I had no idea.
yeah. Is it
There's
crazy?
so many people doing YouTube,
hmm
and every day I find new people.
Yeah, for sure, for
It's
sure.
just bananas.
I
It's
had
absolutely bananas.
I think I had ran across your channel one time before, um, by accident, Oh, and
thank you.
no, I was
I
just
wasn't meaning to watch this piece of shit, but
no,
man, it was
I
there.
I think you had popped in to my feed as a recommendation because of something I had searched for, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I watched it and I was like, okay, there's that, you know. But then obviously we met at TriggerCon and I was like, well, shoot. Oh, okay. Why am I not following him? Yeah. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so that was funny. I was like, I guess I'll just watch this Looney Tune.
It wasn't like that at all. But
No, again, oh well, heck, I met you in 2 minutes. I insulted you, and I felt like such a heel after that. I'm like, oh,
oh,
just
that's
thinking out
fine.
loud.
You can't insult me. I don't e-
Um,
I don't even remember
everybody,
what you said. What'd you say?
we're sitting there. You're sitting next to me. We're eating, and I'm looking through your channel, and I subscribed. I'm looking. I was like, man. And I was just thinking outside. I was like, man, your thumbnails could use some work. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
why did
yeah.
I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Who am I to tell anybody?
But it's so true. It's
But I
so
like,
true.
dude, I dig constructive criticism. If you
Mhm,
look at a lot of
mhm.
good content creators, um, in different genres, like say Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast for the first 6 years had a group of 5 guys, and every single day they would get together on the phone, they'd drop a video, and they'd all critique it. And
Mm.
that's something in our industry that's lacking.
Yeah. Well,
I've asked for honest content from a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, your stuff's good." I'm like, "No, I don't. I want like, hey man, maybe if you'd shorten this up a little bit,
mhm.
just different ideas, just to be able to bounce ideas." But everybody, I just put a link to Mr. Mark's channel in the chat, Fit and Fire. Please, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to his channel. Open a separate window. I mean, don't open this window, you lose the chat. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems, especially in the gun industry, the gun community rather, is it's going to sound really bad, but we get butthurt really, really quickly. I think that we've gotten
Some people do.
yeah, we've been on our heels fighting for just the ability to have the firearms that we want to have and have fun with, for lawful purposes, we've been fighting that fight for so long that we're just like we're on a hair trigger all the time, how dare you say something like that, where you had made that comment, hey, your thumbnails need work, and okay, what do you mean? And
I
you were
said that
like,
because your video production. So I popped on one of your videos and I was like, man, the video was great. The sound was good. Everything's good. And I'm like, the thumbnail just didn't fit it.
yeah, it
Your
was.
production level was here and the
Mhm.
thumbnail was like kind of an afterthought. And I'm like,
It
man,
is. It really is. And I've tried to, since you've made that point, and one of the comments you made is like, I can't see it. You know, I'd have to get my my binos, my reading glasses on to be able to see what the thumbnail is, with the writing that's on the thumbnail. And I've actually taken that to heart and tried to improve
yeah,
that.
I've seen it. It looks great.
So, and you're right. There needs to be more of that. I talked to Johnny B just a couple of weeks ago, and was talking to him about some business stuff. And I said, hey, can you look at my channel and give me some feedback? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And got a text a little bit later. Yeah, just tighten up here. This is doing pretty good. Good job on this one. And that's what we need.
I love it, man. Like if you ever run across something of mine and be like, man, even like Drop It Like It's Scott. He had this
Mhm.
gun range video and he goes, welcome to Drop It Like It's Scott. And he's backing up with his hands out. And then it just goes to, I thought something was going to just explode. And then it just kind of ho hummed. I'm like, damn it, Scott. You had me. I was hooked, Scotty. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but we talked about it. I was like, I thought it was just going to be like explosions in air, like 50 people shooting. And then it was just kind of,
Freaking eagles flying through,
I
and
know it. His intro, that video was like, I was hooked. I was in. I was sitting down, strapped on. Let's go. And then it was like, it was like prom night. Real
yeah,
fast, real
yeah.
fast.
I don't know anything about that. My prom night was awesome. So
The best 20 seconds of her life.
that's right.
No, but
Uh,
So you're doing a lot of shotgun stuff on the channel. You kind of eased
I
up,
have,
but
yep.
that's something I want to do more. I've only done one
Mhm.
shotgun video.
Yeah, and that was something that started because I got linked up with G-Force Arms. They said they sent a DM to me and said, "Hey, are you going to be at Shot Show?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Okay, we'd like to send you a shotgun, and we'd like to see you when you make it out to Shot Show." I said, "Okay, sure." So they sent me the pumpernickel, and I was like,
That's the name of the
uh,
shotgun.
"Yeah, it's literally the
Like the bread.
GF3 pumpernickel." Yeah, I think it's what it. Yeah, um,
Anything titled after food, I'm game.
but I got this shotgun in the mail, and I was like, not well, through the FFL, obviously, but I was like, I wonder if I could break this thing. That would be a good video. And I spent 6 videos trying to break the thing, and I couldn't do it. You know, uh,
Wow.
obviously not like beating it against a tree or anything, but trying to run as many and different types of shells through it as I possibly could, as fast as I possibly could, and yeah, couldn't break it. So since then, they've sent out their GF25, which is like a AR-15 style shotgun.
That's what I want to get. I want to get something like that.
It's
Now, let me
actually
ask you on that one, if you because the problem with those AR-15 style shotguns, if you run it really fast, they'll tend to jam up.
that is true. This one so far hasn't had that issue. The issues that I have had with it, which are minimal, is a failure to go into battery, which I think is a spring issue or a
Mhm.
magazine issue, one of the two. And then what was the other thing? Oh, you want to make sure that your like first probably 200 to 250 shells is shells that have a velocity of 1300 feet per second or more, and that really
Right.
kind of wears it in nicely. So I still need to get another 300 shells through the GF25 to kind of finish up that
That's
video.
hard to do, man. Because when I got this Stoger double defense, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to the range. And a buddy of mine's a cop out here, and he gave me 2 bags of shotgun shells that he just doesn't need anymore.
Mm,
He goes, "This I've had these forever. Some of them might not work, but go ahead." And so I'm there shooting these police loads through this gun. And about 5 boxes in, my shoulder started hurting. I'm
yep,
like, man, this review kind of sucks.
yep,
I love
yep.
the gun. The Stoger's like, do you want to send it back? No, my cold dead hands. I love that shotgun.
Yeah, it's
But,
good.
god dang it, it'll beat you up, your
Mhm.
shoulder.
Yeah.
It took about 5 days to kinda get back.
The
It's
cool
rough.
thing the cool thing with this, the GF25 is that, it utilizes the 1919 magazines, so you can pick up, like, 10-shot box magazines. So, I've got
Ooh,
2 of those, and then I've got 2 5-round magazines, so I can load a box of shells into these magazines, and a box will be gone within 30 seconds or less, so that should really help get the round count up on this thing a lot better to see if I can break it. Um, but they sent me that. They sent me a 1911 that they've started selling. Well,
what's the price
importing
point on it? Is it
on the 1911.
yeah.
Uh, I think
Is it Turkish?
it is Turkish. MSRP is I think 5.99, but I've seen it as low as like 4.99, 4.50.
That's
So
bananas, man.
yeah, not too bad. But um, if you're just looking for a intro 1911, this is an option. But if you're particular about your firearms, you're going to look at it and you're like, okay, this is a 4.99. This is a $500
Yeah.
1911. And then the one that I just got done shooting today for the very first time was their brand new um, GF9, no, RP, is it RP9? The RP9 Rapture. And
It sounds sexy.
it is a Glock 26 clone that has direct thread slide cut for either an RMSC or an RMR red dot. You don't need plates or nothing.
That's nice.
And it's a Glock 26 clone, so that has a lot of Glock compatibility, with the exception of the magazine, which might be an issue for a lot of people. But the
Why would
reason
you have a Glock clone that doesn't take Glock mags?
it's a good question, because they did two things. Number one is they increased the capacity from 10 rounds to 13 rounds. And two, they changed the grip angle, so it is more of a 1911 grip angle than a Glock grip angle.
Okay.
So between those two things, that really changed what they could do. And I think there might have been some patent concerns.
Legalese, some
Yes,
legalese.
yeah. Now it's a Gen 3, so there shouldn't be any patent issues, but you never know,
So there was one video I was really hoping for catastrophic failure. Can you guess which one? I was really hoping it's going to go bad. If you think about it, I know you can guess.
One of the Taurus videos.
No, it's a video you did, and I'm like, I kind of hope it doesn't work.
Oh man, I'm not sure. I don't know.
The mirror safety.
Oh,
bear
really?
spray. I was like, so anyway, he puts on this mask and he gets sprayed with bear spray, and I'm like, I was kind of, 5% of me, the little shitty part of me inside was like, I kind of hope that fails, just because who doesn't want to see someone get sprayed with bear spray?
I know, and I wouldn't have been upset with anybody who thought that either.
Hey, did it suck taking it off though?
It
you
did.
get any
It did.
residual?
Yeah, there was some residuals around my neck and around where it's sealed. You just got that itchy feeling. It could have been just kind of the placebo effect, like you think that it's itching, so it automatically itches. But I could tell you that I could smell that bear spray for days afterwards. So yeah, it doesn't matter how many showers I took, because it is
Gnarly.
it's a very greasy, oily type of thing. So
All right. Hey, Zeus says, what is your EDC?
good question. I've got two that I'm rotating right now.
Me too.
The one that I'm carrying the most is the SIG P365X Macro Comp, which I absolutely love. That's got the TLR7A and a HoloSun EPS carry on it, and I really like that combination. The other one is a CZP10C with a TLR7A and a HoloSun 509T, and I really do like both of those setups.
That's great. I have a Echelon I carry in the wintertime. That's my new winter carry, because I love it. And same thing, it has direct fit to the frame.
Yeah.
Direct fit to the slide, the optic. So it's super low. Co-witness is real easy. And then my XDM 9mm I carry most of the time.
So you're a Springfield guy.
Yeah, I do. I get a lot of shit for it. I know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I've given Taurus a lot of hate, which is ironic, because the video that I just put out yesterday is a Taurus video. But I've quote unquote given Taurus a lot of hate. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you're carrying a Taurus, it works for you. There's a guy that I shoot IDPA with. He has a Taurus G3C that he shoots IDPA with, and
No kidding.
yeah, he's pretty good shooter. He's not
Wow.
he's not winning any matches or anything, but he's not last. So and I don't think I have ever seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it have an issue. And if there was, I think it was operator induced. So, there's that. Springfield, I had a very long talk with QVO Tactical at the party Saturday night at TriggerCon.
I like that guy.
Yeah. And Robert, spaced his name for a second. And I've got my opinions about Springfield, and he's like, well, did you know about this? I was like, no, I didn't know about that. And he's like, did you know about this? And I was like, I didn't know about that either. And he's like, see, and that's the problem. Everybody wants to jump on Springfield's back about what happened back in 2016 with them and Rock River Arms, but nobody wants to dig to see what happened after the fact. And so he brought some things to my attention, and I've changed my
Yeah.
mind a little bit. So yeah,
I think of Springfield as more as a marketing company than a gun company.
that's a good point.
You
That's a
know,
good point. The thing that I don't like the most about Springfield is that they have leveraged the name of the arsenal from way back in World War II and have duped people into believing that that's the same company. Um, hey, they bought the rights to the name, so kudos to them. But it still kind of rubs me wrong a little bit because people see Springfield Arms or Springfield Armory and they think that it's the same Springfield Armory that produced the M1 Garands, and that's not the case. But
well, I mean, I don't think they're trying to dupe. Well, they're just not being very vocal.
exactly, that's a better way of putting it. You're far more
I'm just
eloquent
trying
than
to
I am.
justify it, man. Hey, so you did another video on the Gerson 1911 MC 1911C or something.
Yep.
I have that same gun and it's flawless, man. I had
So
like
weird. Yeah.
3 failure to feeds out of it, and
Mhm.
it's making a comeback video on my channel.
Good.
That video I did with that gun is the highest rated video I got. I think it's like 400,000 views.
Oh, nice,
And
nice.
then I ninja'd it out, man. I put a red dot. I put it looks ridiculous, but I love it.
Good. That's the
I
best way
wasn't
to.
gonna do it with the high end 1911, but that one,
Sure.
I
Absolutely.
put a compensator on it, changed
Mhm.
the grips. Oh, dude, that thing is ninja'd out. I love it to death.
The
Changed the
next
spring.
Yeah, the next ones that I wanna look at is, the T-Sauce. T-Sauce has a lot of really good looking
I've
1911s
shot a
coming out.
couple of T-Sauce 1911s, man.
Mhm.
They are not bad.
Not too bad. They have
Finish
one. I mean,
could
I
be
don't know.
better.
They have this one called the Night Stalker that I really liked. It has a, like, a diamond, grip panel, and it has,
Really?
some really nice texturing on the front and back. If I can get my hands on one of those, I've been trying to get in touch with those guys about their extended car's warranty, and they just won't return my calls. So, we'll figure it out. We'll get them at SHOT Show.
Yeah, they can't run. That brings me to the I was thinking about getting this myself, is that Mantis, Blackbeard, the
Yes,
AR.
do it.
Do
Yep.
you still use that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, no, no. That is a great tool. Dry firing should be done at least twice. I would say twice a week if you can manage it, if not more. And
I don't do it at all.
yeah, Mantis. I do a lot of shooting of like competition stuff. So here coming up in the beginning of April, is it the beginning of April? Into March is Kalash Bash. And
Oh, are you coming down for the Clash Bash?
I am. Yep,
Oh, I'll
I
see you
am.
there.
I do not miss that. You're going to be there. That's going to be
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, and
Are you
I've
camping
been
out overnight?
yes. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Damn, I can't do it.
Yep. I just bought a pull behind like teardrop camper. So I've got that I'll be bringing down, and I'm going to transfer my rooftop tent from my truck on top of that, so I'll have extra room that a buddy of mine is going to sleep into when we get there. But um, the point is that a lot of the guys that I'm friends with, Clay, AK Mario, a buddy of mine, Aiden. Uh, I've been watching their reels on Instagram of them doing competition shooting. I'm like, ooh, I really need to start doing my homework because these guys, they're bringing the heat this
I've
year.
never
So
seen someone run an AK like Clay.
I know.
So I
And
had the BFG5 at the range, and he's shooting next to me, and I'm trying to copy him, and it's not happening, man.
that that
The way
that
he can transition, dump mags, and reload, it's so fast and crisp.
yeah.
And
And
I
and
felt like I was in molasses.
and what's crazy is in May I shot with him at Kalashnikon, which is a 2 or 3 day shooting competition, 2 gun shooting competition, and he he was not the best shooter. That's what blows my mind, is to see these other guys like Caleb, who's known as Boats and Hose on Instagram. Excuse me, Bolts and Holes is his tag on Instagram. He took a podium. The Combat Accountant took a podium. AK Mario took a podium. And these guys are taking 7.62 by 39 AKs to 600 yards, iron sights, and
Yeah,
hitting targets.
it's wild.
That is how crazy these guys are. So,
Are you competing at Clash Bash?
oh yeah, Friday. So they have
Those are all sold out, right? I think all those got sold out.
probably it goes really, really quick. But you can get put onto a standby list. So if someone drops, then you can take their spot. So if you guys are interested in trying to get in on that, you can shoot Friday, which you do all 8 stages on Friday, or you can shoot Saturday, Sunday, and you do 4 stages Saturday, 4 days Sunday. So personally, I like to do everything on Friday, so I have Saturday and Sunday just to do whatever else I want. I like to volunteer while I'm there to help out Clay and Tony with the with the event. So yeah, it's
Yeah, dude, I tell
a
you
good
what,
time.
I went last year was my first time, and Clay's like, it's unlike anything you ever see. And I'm like, all right, I'll go check it out. I had a blast, and I give him a bunch of shit. Everything was great except the food trucks, and
Yeah, that's a
and
struggle every year.
the last thing they think about are these stupid food trucks.
Yeah.
And here I'm bitching about food. I'm a fat guy. What do you think, man? Of course we bitching about
Yeah.
food. No, but
Uh,
I had a great time. I mean, they've grown so much.
yeah. Hmm.
I'm really
They
proud
have.
of that guy.
And I'm actually really happy that they've transitioned it to back to spring. They had been doing it in October. They started in spring and then they moved it to October and then they're back in spring. And I'm really happy about that because um, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but even in October, it's freaking hot down there.
Yes, I know. I live here.
I know, right? Freaking here in Kansas, come October, it's like 70 degrees. It's like really mild. It's really nice. And we'll have hot days and we'll have cold days, but most of the time it's about 70 degrees. You drive down there, it's like 98 and 60% humidity. And I'm just like the wicked
Mhm.
witch of the West just melting, you know?
It's miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. It doesn't start to really cool off. I mean, we had a week of real cold weather here. It was kind of bizarre.
So it's about
And then
66.
it's right back. So it starts to cool down really. I would say like December, like the first week of December, it starts to chill out a little bit. January and February. February gets freaking cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same
But
here.
Jesus says, do you think Canik is better than Glock?
No,
Yes. Yes.
no.
Everything's better than Glock.
Mm, is the Canic trigger better than a Glock? Yes.
I can't stand Glocks.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. I mean,
They're very unreliable guns.
unreliable.
They are very severely unreliable guns. And I've had this argument many times.
Really?
My wife was going to be a Fed, right? And so they carry Glock 19s.
Mhm.
But I bought a brand new Glock 19, took it to the range. I shot a couple mags to it. Great. Handed it to her. Jam, jam, jam. Oh, you're not holding it right. You're not holding it just right. She shoots 1911s,
Mm,
XDs, revolvers, everything else just fine. The Glock
mm,
jams. My
mm,
son shoots all kinds of pistols just fine. XDs, 1911s, 22s,
mm,
everything's fine. The Glock, shoot. That's all on video. I got video after video of that Glock and 2 other Glocks jamming. I shoot it fine. But any gun that you have to have a perfect grip for it to work, what if you grab it out of your nightstand?
mhm.
Someone's breaking in your house, you don't have the perfect grip. Does that mean it's going to jam on you?
You know,
That's bullshit.
that's funny because my partner Hefe, who is on the podcast, he talks about that in episode 1 of the podcast. And the question was, how do you become a better shooter with a Glock pistol? And he dissects it. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that with most pistols, 1911s, XDs, SIGs, whatever the case may be, that grip angle allows you to kind of point with your finger, so you're pointing with your finger, and that's how you get your sight picture and your wrist geometry and everything like that. Whereas Glocks, you point with your thumbs, so it's thumbs forward type of grip, and I've changed that in how I shoot Glock or Glock style pistols, and have found a immediate improvement in my shooting abilities with those types of pistols. So you are correct. You are correct that if you do not have a good grip on it, you are going to get misfeeds, failure to feeds, failure to ejects, because the
There's this
Glock.
one cop who has his pistol out and he shoots at a perp, but he just grabs it real fast and he doesn't have a good grip and it
Mhm,
jams on him twice.
mhm. Yep.
Screw that.
And
I could take an XD, put it sideways, put the safety down, and boom, it goes off.
mhm,
You can limp wrist all these guns. If I can't, like when Dan does a limp wrist test,
mhm.
I love it because what if I just don't grab the perfect gun? What if my son's home alone?
Mhm,
Someone's breaking in the front door. He runs to the safe and he runs to the box and gets the Glock out.
mhm.
It's gonna jam on that poor kid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is a very, very good.
So for me, if it's not 100% reliable, I don't want it. And
Yeah,
if I don't want to have the perfect grip, because if it's a heat of the moment, I mean, shit. What if you're offhanded?
yeah, and that's another great comment that Hefe makes in the podcast too, is that you will never rise to the occasion. You will always default to your lowest level of training.
100%.
Yep, and it has played out time and time again, and just routine things of something startles me and I have to do something real quick. Prime example: yesterday I was out sitting in a deer stand. A deer came out 14 yards, and I put a shot with my bow on it, and wasn't a good shot. And I ended up losing that deer, and it was because I was fiddling around. I'd only been in the stand for 20 minutes, not
That's how
paying
it always happens, man.
right?
Right?
And not paying attention to what was going on. And then all of a sudden, boom, this deer's right in front of me. And I'm like, oh crap. I don't even have my bow off the hook. I got to get everything set up. I'm panicking. I'm trying to hurry. And then I fell to my lowest level of training. So, I got a lot of work to do, and I'll make a better shot next time. But
It's humbling.
it is, yeah. I will
And
say that for me, with back to Jose's question, is the reason why I like Glock better is because I prefer that lower bore axis. I feel that Canik's bore axis is a little bit too high, in my opinion. Trigger's better with the Canik, bore axis better with Glock. That's how I look at it.
I always used to get a kick out of before all the clones started coming out.
Mm,
Someone would buy a Glock. What do you do? Change the sights,
yep.
change the slide, change the barrel, change the trigger. I'm like, so what are you doing? You're buying a frame?
Yeah.
And
That's
it
why
was
P80
always
became
kind of
so
a joke.
popular. Yeah,
It was always
yeah,
kind
for
of a
sure.
joke.
Yeah, yeah. So
And that's like the people that'll buy a Remington 700 and then change the stock, change the barrel, change the trigger. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Just
yeah.
go buy the stupid little action and just build your gun from scratch. You're just
Mhm.
wasting all this money.
That's what I've started to see a lot more content come out with, like precision rifles, and how people will go out and buy like a Ruger American and then change out the barrel and change out the chassis. And I'm like, why don't you just buy the action? Just buy the
Exactly.
action and build from there. Um,
Exactly.
so that would be something that I would like to try to do in the near future. Jose also asks, great question for you. I want to hear your answer on this. Best budget pistol of 2023.
Uh, Man, don't skip ahead, Jesus. So I think, honestly, the best budget pistol I have shot personally in 2023 was the Stoeger STR9.
Ooh, I have not shot that one yet, and
It's pretty amazing.
I've heard a lot of people say good things about it.
It's cheap. It's great. Their competition one, the STR9 Tactical. It's a longer barrel. That thing is great too. It's a
Mhm.
fantastic gun. And yeah, what a bummer. I can't believe more people don't know about it. I
Mhm.
didn't even know Stoger made pistols. I thought they just made shotguns.
Yeah, I've heard not so good things about Sturger pistols, but there might be a lot of elitism coming from those comments, you know?
There's a
So,
lot of that in our industry.
yeah. My opinion, best budget pistol for 2023, it's something that probably no one thinks of. Best budget pistol is CZP-10Z. A lot of people don't realize it. They think, "Oh, it's just, it's a Glock clone, so it's like 500-600 bucks." No, you can find them for like 350 right now.
That's a great gun.
Yeah. PSA has deals on P10Cs all the time. So, yeah.
Mike's out fishing. Who does pistols better, Europe or America?
America, come on now.
America. 2 world wars.
2 world wars.
That's right.
We're not gonna talk
So
about Vietnam.
we were talking earlier, and you said you ran across one of my videos, and I actually watched one of your videos, and I didn't recognize it until it's going through your catalog. Is your video of you shooting with your daughter? I had
Mm.
ran across that video like a year and a half ago,
Oh, nice, yeah. Mhm.
and because I was taking my daughter out, and I was trying to. I don't want to pressure her into shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the man, Clay. What's up, buddy?
Look at that. We've
So
been talking about you, Clay.
his
Oh my
ears are
god.
burning.
I
His
don't
ears are
know.
burning. But I was trying to, I don't want to force my daughter to shoot. So I've been trying to figure out ways to like make it more fun. So I got her
Mhm.
a 22
Yes.
rifle, and I had it painted pink and purple, and she's all about it.
Mhm.
So now she's asking me, like, hey, can I go shoot with you? That has been great. But yeah, I had ran across a video with your daughter shooting. Does she still
Yeah.
shoot?
Yeah, she loves to shoot. She doesn't really want to do the video stuff, you know? She's, she's a teenager now. She's
Good
too
girl.
too cool for that type of stuff, you know? But yeah, you're right. The, biggest thing is she really likes to shoot the 22 pistol. We have a Ruger 10/22 that she likes to shoot, especially if we can get it suppressed. And then, she's really started to get into the, AR-15 as well. So, um,
Nice.
hopefully I can start pulling her over to the dark side with the AK, but,
That
well,
The Taurus TX22 competition is a
yes.
great gun.
Yeah, it
That
actually is, yeah.
my son rocks that one. He loves it. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, what's the worst gun you reviewed? The
Oh,
biggest letdown, the biggest suck fest. You're like, ugh, this gun sucks.
mm,
Say in the last like year and a half,
it it would have to
or
be
most disappointing.
the Gerson, MC 1911C. I was really hoping that it would work out, and I just had problem. You've had great experience with it. Honest Outlaws had a great experience with it. I had to send mine in to EAA twice.
Did they
Um,
charge you shipping?
they did for the first time going there, but they shipped it back to me for free. I had more issues with it. They sent me a label, and I shipped it in for free. They fixed it again and brought it back, and then it was running. It ran after that. Um, and I talked to Chase about that,
Mm.
and he was like, "Hey, look, man. Here's the thing. We've got people that send stuff in all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that firearm. They are legitimately doing something themselves. There's some type of user error. So for us to spend the money to have them ship a perfectly good firearm to us to do work on, it doesn't make any sense for us. So yes, we do charge the customer to send it in for the first time. And if there's any issues, then we'll never charge them ever again." And I was like, I can understand that, EAA is not one of these
Well, they're also an
huge companies.
importer. They don't make
Exactly.
the guns, so
Exactly.
it's different.
Yeah.
Importers, I mean, do they really have people on staff that can do problem solving and fix these guns? Not as much as a manufacturer would.
Correct. Yeah. So I kind of understood that point from there. Still, Still a little let down about it, but at the end of the day, I've started to see an improvement on everything that they're doing. They've got those new 2311s that they're
Yeah.
coming out with. It's really, really nice.
So, what's your favorite gun all around? What was the most? What gun surprised you the most? You're like, man, this is a great gun.
Oh man, wasn't prepared for these questions. I would have to say the one that I really liked of late, which may be controversial, is the IWI Caramel. That is a thick girl. She's thick. She's big. But you want to talk about an suppressor host? That is a really good suppressor host. Unfortunately, right now they're doing a recall on them.
Oh no.
Yeah, they had a issue with their firing pin blocker, but there's only a batch of them of about, I think it was 1,096 rifles that they had to do a recall, and my serial number landed right in the middle of it. But outside of that, that recall, mine ran just fine, had no issues with it, and put a can on it and ran really well. There's some things that I would like to see. I'd like to see maybe a shorter barreled version that had a pin and welded muzzle device on it or something, or allow you to at least do that. I'd like to see them move away from the ACR style stock.
I kind of like that stuff.
I'm not. I don't like UGG boots, so you know.
All right. Next question. All right. So you got your top 4 people you want to work with and do content with face to face. You want to do who's in your dream team, top 4 people you want to work with. And you can't put me because I know I'd probably be number 1 or 2. So take me out of it. So
Okay.
who's your
Okay.
top 4, excluding me. Of course, you got to put Clay in there. I know that's going to get you one of your.
No, I've already done Clay. Clay and I have already done it together. I'll do anything with Clay anytime. I love Clay.
Well, if it gets cold enough, folks.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clay's been great. I love Clay. If I had to exclude you and Clay,
in case you're just listening to this, Clay just put he's done me.
He's done me. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Well,
so
well,
good.
you guys don't know this. We met on Grinder, so
Clay tried to fix it, done it with me. Nah, not helping.
Yeah, there
We've done it.
Yeah. We've done it. Yeah.
Okay. Just let it go, Clay.
So top four. I've got 3 that are probably like okay, and then one's like, Honest Outlaw. Definitely want to get with him, and he's just like 6 hours away from me, so I'd love to be able to get in touch with him.
Yeah, Chris is solid.
Brandon Herrera, he's always been a good friend of mine, and we've just never been able to get together and do something together. I've been meaning to get down to Florida to hook up with Scott, with Drop It Like Scott. And then there's a new guy that probably a lot of people may or may not know him, and he's really wacky. And I love his takes on things. It really kind of might be a little abrasive for a lot of people, but Risky Krisky, that guy really gets me every single time. He's hilarious.
I've never seen it.
He goes on to these schizo rants, and it's like all conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And he just gets going and going and going. It's hilarious to watch.
I don't call them conspiracy theories. I call yet proven truths.
That's a good way to do it. Like,
because most of that, are you an Alex Jones fan at all?
I don't know. I won't say I'm a fan, but I obviously know of him, listen to him.
Most of the stuff that crazy bastard was talking about 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
Yep.
he would come on to a show called George Norrie Coast to Coast. And it was a late show at night. Talks about aliens and all this stuff. And he was talking about making the frogs gay and all this crazy shit almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's all come true. Pedophile Island. I've known about Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Grove, all that stuff for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's
Operation Northwoods.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. I bet you're one of those guys that believe that we landed on the moon.
of course we did. Did you see the
No.
video?
Video. Like, have you not
Did
seen
you
what
see the
Hollywood?
Chinese video?
Oh, no, was it? No, it was not Chinese.
Right here, Mike out fishing. Alex Jones is a hero. He is a absolute hero. I would love to run into that guy.
I think it was India. It was India that tried to land on the moon. Michiko,
Oh,
yeah,
Michiko pulling a 9
those
hole.
are good ones
What's
too.
your number 4? What's your number 4, Clay? It's a 4. It's your
It's
4.
four, top four.
You can't choose Mark or me because I know we're probably pretty high up there.
Yeah.
What's number 4?
I tell you, somebody that didn't make the list and that obviously should make everybody's list, but good old Flannel Daddy, you know.
Flannel Daddy?
Yeah, freaking Grand Thumb.
I call him like a skinny Clint Eastwood. That.
Yeah.
So I saw him at Shot, right? And he was sick. The last Shot show, he was
Mhm.
sick as a dog. And so
Just
I'm
like
talking
everybody.
to him, and I'm like, hey, man, I know this is crazy, but would you come on my live stream? And he just looked at me like, peasant, go away. He was like, probably not. I mean, you're a little busy. I'm like, hey, I had to throw it out there, man. I had to ask, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what manufacturer? This is the last question, Mark. You've
Okay.
passed. You passed all of the questions.
Mm.
What's either this or what's your favorite color? But so what manufacturer would you like to work with that you're not currently working with?
That I'm not currently working with, and that's kind of a loaded question. Manufacturer, because that could be so many different things.
Manufacturer, importer, guns.
So one of the things that I'm working on right now is I have pulled together a kit that I need to get off my butt and get down to Phoenix to work with SOF Defense, which is AK Mario's company, who builds AKs, either from the ground up, or you can do mods to your AKs, or whatever you want to do. He pretty much can do it. So you can send him a kit and he'll build it. I think he's doing build classes, so you can actually go and build your AK with him.
Didn't Clay just do a like interview with AK Mario?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I watched that. See, Clay, I watch your content.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
And it did.
Yeah, after 1930. Yeah, but I watch your stuff.
And he also did some videos with was it M13?
Yeah, I watched a lot of that stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. If we're talking like actual importer / manufacturer, Zastava. That I'm a huge Zastava fan, or Zastava, however you want to pronounce it.
I'm a huge Zastava fan because at SHOT Show, the only person that recognized me was a guy working in the Zastava booth.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're Smash Time." I'm like, "Holy shit, that's one. I've made it, people."
So
he was in that booth. So I'm like, all right, I like those guys.
SHOT Show of 2020, I had just gotten done doing my first M70 review. As I was about a month a month removed from that video. I come walking up to the Zastava booth and they're like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Hey!" And they're like, "You were on freaking Serbian TV." And I was like, "Excuse me? I was what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you were on the news for Serbia, the national news, like the CNN of Serbia."
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, "What?" And they showed me a video that they took my YouTube video, several clips of my YouTube video, to talk about Zastava coming to the United States for SHOT Show and the gun industry and the convention and everything. And they were using my video to kind of spruce up the little clip of their news, so I thought that was really, really cool. So again, they recognized you, they recognized me. I thought that's pretty cool. I will say
your story was much cooler.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that why I love Zastava so much is they have been so great when it comes to helping me with small things. Like, I'll send them an email and just be like, "Hey, I'm doing a video that's talking about the export ban from Serbia. I wanted to get some more information to do a video about it. Do you have any information?" They're like, "Yep, here it is. This is everything that we know." And I'm like, "Cool, great." They so far are the only people that have reached out to me about SHOT Show and said, "We want you to come see us. Um, we've got some new things that we want to talk about, and we want to see you." And I was like, "Okay, great." So Tuesday at 10 o'clock, I'll be at Zastava's booth. So I would like to work with them a little bit more. I think that would be cool. What I really want to do is go to Serbia and see their factory. That would be the
That would
coolest
be
thing. I
pretty
think. Yeah.
pretty sick.
And if I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to bring it up at SHOT Show and be like, "Hey, I got a passport. I will travel." So
Yeah, I mean, well, do you think they'd foot your bill?
I don't even need them
Would you
to.
fit your own bill if they invited you?
Yes, I would. You most
Yeah,
certainly
that'd be
would.
pretty sweet.
Yep. I mean, I've been wanting to travel to Europe for quite some time, and I will admittedly say that the Eastern Bloc probably wouldn't be my first choice of places to go, but whatever I got to do, yeah, I'll go to Serbia. I don't care about that. So
Jesus had I guess that's the last question on the night. What is your opinion on the brace rule nonsense?
yeah, Jesus has got it right. It is nonsense, 100% nonsense. Um, I think that what the ATF didn't realize or didn't pay attention to was West Virginia versus EPA, in which the Supreme Court said, "Hey, EPA, you can't just reinterpret laws and make them to benefit you. That's not how this works." And so, a lot of these cases have been utilizing that as precedent to basically combat these overreaches of the ATF. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
seeing,
outrageous.
yeah, so we're seeing the brace ban, we're seeing the bump stock, the frames and receivers, all of it is crashing down. So yeah,
You want to do this one? Or you want me to do this one?
you go ahead. I would
Who
love to
do you
hear what
think
you.
will be the president next year? I don't think we're going to have an election next year. I will go on record right now, and just because I said that word, this has been yellowed out. This video is yellowed out. So
Hmm.
immediately after this, it's yellow.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
The election is a key word.
Hmm.
You can't say the T word either.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
honestly, it's not happening. Something's going to go down, and we got a
And
lot of military age men from Africa and all parts of the world that are not.
they that
I'm
that
just saying.
the, the that is what Risky Krisky has been saying for the last 6 months. Three things are going to happen. Either A, we're not going to have an election. B, they are going to S word, you know, not not the metal word, but
Yeah,
the other one, right? They're going to take it. Or C, they are going to ensure that the person that we would normally vote for doesn't get the ability to run. So,
by any means necessary. I
yep.
don't think we're going to have it.
Hmm.
It's. I think we're in the last. I think we're in the last year. By
Yeah.
this time next year, we'll go on record right now. It's going to get absolutely bananas. Listen to Tucker Carlson the other day. He was saying it.
Yeah.
He's like, it's going to happen. All these issues are going to be forced within the next 6 months.
Hmm.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to get nuts.
And what the thing that I expect to see is that a kinetic fight will happen that draws us in. Obviously, we have the two proxy wars that are going on right now, but we will be drawn into something that causes us to go to war, and then they're going to play the card, "Oh, you don't change horses in midstream." That's what got George W. reelected. We were 2004. We were right in the middle of Afghanistan and Iraq, and you don't You don't change horses in midstream. That was
You
the
do if it's a lame horse.
yeah yeah you do.
Yeah.
Um,
So his next question: Do you bigger ammo crisis? Like I said, I think it's going to be so bad next year that it. Like, look, man, I'm thinking soup lines, everything shut down, the economy's trashed. I mean, they're gonna. I mean, there's so many weird things the government would do.
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe fake an alien invasion, big EMP. I mean, hey, people laugh, but if you had told me 5 years ago we'd be doing this crazy shit now, I would be like, you're crazy. But
Yeah,
they've
no,
actually had government run scenarios where they've paid and they've reenacted this out where they're like, hey, yeah, what if we faked an alien invasion?
oh
And
yeah.
people are like, that's not true. I'm like, yeah, it's
I said it once before. Look up Operation Northwoods.
Northwoods. Exactly. Again, this video is immediately yellowed out.
I know, right? I think
But I say what? So by February or March of next year, make sure all your preps are in order.
yep,
You need to be able to stay in your house because people are like, well, I'll bug out. Bug out where?
exactly.
You need to be able to stay in your house or your property or wherever you're at for at least 3 months without
Mhm.
leaving. And then talk to all your neighbors. I'm really big into that now. Talk to all of your neighbors because if they're not an asset, they're a liability. And
Yeah.
all my neighbors are assets.
So I will be writing a check for about $1,000 on a cow. I went in with a couple of guys. We bought a cow, and it's going to be processed. I should have it by December 2nd. So I will have at least, at the very bare minimum, 78 pounds of ground beef, plus all of the different cuts of brisket and rump roast and
That's such
ribeyes
a
and
good
stuff
deal.
like
I
that.
wish there was a place locally here that could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, what's in the cup, my man? What's in the cup? I think that's it's just soda water.
No, I wouldn't be this pink on my cheeks if it was soda water. Yes, whiskey. I've been sipping on some Rickhouse single barrel that is finished in some sherry barrels. So it has a nice rye sweet taste to it. So yeah.
Oh, look at that. He's an alcoholic. No, I'm
Mhm.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Normally it would be Stoli vodka straight, but
I'm a
tonight,
big vodka drinker. I love it.
I
Tequila. I'm really big into tequila.
man, you and my friend, we need to see if we can get you up on that float trip because you and my buddy Red, he's a huge tequila drinker too.
I love it. It just doesn't love me, but I love it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Well, hey guys, everyone in the chat, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate, especially the questions, Jesus.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Do you want to leave with any parting words?
No, thank you so much for having me on. You can have me on anytime you'd like. We'll jump right on and do it again. But thanks for having me. If you guys want to check out my channel, please do. If you want to check out the podcast, check that out as well. I'd appreciate it.
Man Against the Masses says Smash needs his own vodka brand. I wish. So I did international logistics for a while. Currently not working, but one of my accounts was Tito's Vodka.
Really?
And so I used to go up there all the time for a sales call.
Oh, of
They
course.
ship like 4 containers a year to Asia. That's it. But
Mhm.
I would go up there monthly for a sales call because I would leave with samples of just cases of vodka. God bless those people. That was my favorite sales call in the history. All right. Clayco's out. Fluffy's
Yep.
out. Thank you guys so
Thank you,
much for
guys.
watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Till next time, guys.